This is legitimately good. I'm gonna take this barbecue back to Charleston. We are here at the Hancock Center at one of their monthly potlucks, and we are eating delicious, slow-cooked pulled pork barbecue. If you are not standing with the LGBTQ community, this is the kind of stuff you're missing out on. When patrons of the Stonewall Inn, including trans women of color, fought back against a police raid of a gay bar in 1969, they sparked the modern gay pride movement. But that was in New York. In South Carolina, a picnic, sort of like this one, took the growing pride movement here in Columbia to a new level. I'm KJ Kearney, and this is Citizen Better. The Harriet Hancock Center is focused on advancing LGBTQ+ rights and safety. And they know that sometimes community safety just means getting people together for some good food. But they're also tapping into Columbia's long history of protest.
So back in the 80s, the community would get together at Deer Island State Park and have a picnic. Deer Island, of course, is a lovely place at Lake Murray. It's very secluded. We're still very much in the conservative South, the Bible Belt. And so, you know, for folks to get together in a public setting was not something that was very appetizing for folks at the time.
But activists like Harriet Hancock, the mother of a gay son, were interested in making more of a statement. She took a clipboard and collected names of people who were participating in Columbia's first Pride March the next year.
That first march, people were scared. You know, the city couldn't really offer protection or wouldn't provide the resources necessary, so people were scared. I mean, you could still be fired.
Yeah.
People were like, you know, considering wearing clown makeup, a number of people actually did. And then others were like, you know, concerned about being shot. You know, I recall Harriet telling me, you know, she and her son walking, and they were just in tears. In tears, like people were wiping the makeup off their faces as they got closer to the State House because they realized what a powerful moment that was for the community in this first march.
Matt's not talking about Stonewall in the 60s. He's talking about a Pride March in 1990. The march that started with people wearing makeup to hide their identities ended with the group finding safety in numbers, marching to the State House to make demands of non-discrimination. It's understandable that people were worried. Historically, institutions like the justice and healthcare system don't keep all of us safe, particularly for the LGBTQ+ community, who have often faced threats to their safety from these systems. Police raids were frequently used as a tactic to intimidate and beat patrons of gay bars through the 50s and 60s. State laws criminalizing same-sex sexual relationships weren't ruled unconstitutional until 2003. Marriage equality has existed nationwide for less than a decade, and 137 bills have been introduced in the state and federal legislatures to ban gender-affirming health care this year alone.
This year, very unfortunately, the state legislature passed and the governor signed into law a bill that bans medically necessary care for trans kids.
Because these institutions aren't always safe for queer and trans people, the Harriet Hancock Center works to build community safety from within these systems by educating people about legislation that affects their community and helping them contact their lawmakers to advocate for themselves. But they also build safety from outside these systems by forming a network of support groups and resource guides for LGBTQ-owned and friendly businesses and service providers, so that people can feel confident that they will be safe and included in choices as major as seeking transition-related health care or planning a wedding, to as minor as getting a haircut that expresses who they are.
Often when people are in crisis, they might not even know what they need. And so for us as a resource center, we're looking at how can we help fill in those gaps and make it less overwhelming for them, whether they're looking for a medical resource that's affirming or behavioral health, or even someone who's looking for an esthetician that supports transgender or gender expansive people.
And members of Harriet Hancock Center's peer support groups come from Columbia and the surrounding counties, sometimes driving an hour or more just to have a space where they can be their authentic selves.
We really are trying to create as many spaces and tell people like, you are safe here. We accept you for who you are, even if you don't know exactly who that is quite yet, to give them that space to rise up and just be themselves, because queer joy also matters.
That's why here you'll find multiple generations sharing a meal together in a space they know they'll be accepted and understood. Like Harriet herself, who still attends every potluck.
My son came out to me as gay in about 1980, 81, and he was just reluctant to tell me this because he did not know how I would take it. And, you know, I knew that he needed me. He was distraught. He was in a terrible situation, having to come out to your mother and be fearful of rejection, not knowing what's going to happen to you. I just put my arms around him and hugged him, and I said, it's okay, and everything's going to be okay. So he was extremely relieved. I said, you know, it's okay. I accept you. I love you unconditionally, but it's going to be a problem for other people, and I don't want you to be mistreated. We're talking about 1981 here. I was more concerned about what society and how this world was going to be treating my son, and I wanted to change that. I didn't want my son to have to live with that.
You've been doing this work since 1982, so I want to know why. Why are you still as involved as you are?
Because there is a need. And I am totally invested in this. This community has been wonderful to me. I have made so many friends within the LGBT community, and they have enriched my life. I can tell you that. My life has been enriched by these wonderful people, and if I have helped them, I will continue to help them as long as I've got breath in my body.
Community safety can come in many different forms, but if we can learn anything from Harriet Hancock, it's that a lot of it is just about showing up for your community consistently for as long as you can. Where support and safety don't always exist in traditional systems, activists like her have long worked to build alternatives, because while you can and should participate in the democratic process, at the same time, we don't need to wait for institutional approval to build community and support each other. My name is KJ Kearney, and thank you for watching Citizen Better.